Snowball. I'm going to go over the Volcanic Fractal as a guardian. And you want your party to stay up here so you can stack up in line of sight the mobs up here. And you want hammer staff. Use staff to pull the mobs and use line of warding. And use reflex, spam Virtue of Justice when they come up. And if you want to run up there to kill the stray person off, you can use stand your ground. Once you get out of combat, swap the staff again so you can swap back the hammer right off the start when they come. And use Ring of Warding, and you just basically want to alternate your line of warding and ring of warding when they come, as well as your wall and shield. And you just want to spam Virtue of Justice as well. It's great to have a thief for this part because they can just permanent blind everything. Warriors should have Axe Mace, the Axe Warhorn, tremoring them and putting weakness on them with the Warhorn. You can see I just tried to pull as many as I could. We really weren't even came close to going down because everybody's doing what they should be doing. We're keeping them CC, blinded, flex up. It's really what you want to do for most mobs and fractals. Once that's done, you get nice new little video there. Exciting stuff. You want to watch out so you don't get trolled by these folders, because since the patch they move in weird directions towards the end. And again, hammer staff. You can use staff 4. Get some quick might stacks, since you're probably not going to be stacking much might. They'll last long enough for it to be worthwhile, honestly. You want to have your staff up when you aren't in combat so you can swap back to the hammer right away. You want to use your staff for line of warding as well. You want to use stand your ground if there's circles close to where the vet is that you're attacking. I usually just run up, if they're on the sides, I usually just run up to them and use banish to push it, to knock them into the wall. You can use line of warding or ring of warding right off the start. You can also use hammer 3 to immobilize the targets. I usually just try to keep ring of warding in case they start running off and it's not looking good. You can see I don't use it this whole time because they're not even close to coming near the villagers. And if you save all the villagers, you get a bonus chest, so it's good to do all this. You can see I use the ring of warding. It's really overpowered for this, so. Then when the shaman comes down, you just want to stack might real quick. And you want to keep up reflex the whole time because stack hurts pretty bad. Does decent damage back to him. Get out of the red circle after a few seconds. Hurts pretty hard. What you want to do is you want to max melee the shaman. He won't do his melee attack if you do that. Again, if there's big red circles around you, you can use stand your ground. There's not much more. It's easy if you just keep reflex up and max melee. He does absolutely nothing. And for the imbued shaman, you'll want a great sword no matter what you do. You can either range or melee it. If you range, you want scepter focus. If you melee it, you can use either hammer or sword focus for the extra blocks. You want retreat, wall, shield. And for traits, you want to change your 10% first burning foes damage multiplier to your spear weapon cooldown so that you'll have shield up for every transition. You want to use Powerful Blaze if you use a sword at all. And if you don't use a hammer at all, you should change to two-handed mastery. It's it's kind of annoying to melee it now since they broke the camera. You'll have to dodge immediately if it's on you, it's facing you. And when the transition starts, you want to put up Shield Adventure immediately. And then once it has a few stacks left on it, you want to double dodge back and put up a wall for your group to fall back on. Finding blades the mobs together and use blind and your burst skills on your greatsword. Once the wall is gone or he throws AoE on it, you can see there we just backed off and put up more reflex and projectile destruction skills up. And we kind of backed off a bit. You want to save your reflex more for the transition phases since that's more of the issue here than anything. The fight's fairly easy other than that. And he does the anti-melee attacks, he goes up in the air like that. You could just use retreat if you want, or virtue of courage. And you just throw it, it's a one hit attack, it'll block it. This other attack you can see he pops up and swoops back down and bombards the area. You want to dodge really far away. You still get hit even if you're not in the circles, which is pretty annoying. So make sure you dodge far. And you could immobilize them. The few skills like warriors can do pin down or throw bows. Rangers can use entangle to keep the shaman standing still when he's in this bubble phase so you can burst him down in the shield. And you generally, it's a good idea to dodge the opposite direction that he's moving while he's in his bubble phase to put up the wall and fall back on just so everybody's on the same page. And if people are down, well, if people are dead mostly, you can find out who has aggro and pull them aside and just keep them busy while everybody else goes to revive. You always want to constantly be moving so you don't get burning. You see, I don't really have optimal DPS rotations. It's because I'm more afraid to use Whirling Wrath than anything, since the amazing fumble dodges are still in the game after a year and a half. Good stuff. And usually it was fun at time warp, the transition phases to get rid of this is bubble stacks faster and kill the ads faster. And once you finish the final phase of that, you can just spam reflex because you don't need them anymore for anything else. You don't even have to dodge his arrows. You can just aegis through that, like I said before. And it's